Good day traders, this is Stefanos on behalf of Tixee, and in today's webinar we'll be giving an outlook of the market for the week of the 13th until the 17th of June. Looking at some of the highlights for next week, we'll be looking at Netflix and eBay, who were both downgraded by Goldman Sachs. As always, please note that all of the ideas discussed in this webinar are my own opinions and do not make up for any form of investment and trading advice, neither any recommendations to buy or sell. You should always do your own research and due diligence before buying or selling any securities, financial products, or instruments, and whether you use any kind of trading strategies. Any information that relates to past performance is not indicative of future results. So looking at stocks first, as we mentioned, we had both Netflix and eBay, which were downgraded by Goldman Sachs on Friday. Now Netflix, I'm gonna pull up the chart in the meantime, but Netflix was downgraded from a neutral rating to a sell, with a revised price target down from $265 to $186. So right now we can see that prices are actually trading around that price target that Goldman Sachs said. So you can see, depending if we get a consolidation phase, whether we'll get one more push towards the downside, or whether we will look to consolidate even further and potentially start staging a comeback. Now, obviously, to make matters worse, we also had the US inflation report on Friday, which showed that inflation soared to a 40-year high, which also added even further to the news of the downgrade. Now, Netflix was down 5.10% or $9 at the time of recording this webinar. You can also see the drop from the pretty substantial gap down that we had from the previous day. And if we actually zoom a little bit further out, and I'm gonna switch this onto the weekly time frame, we can see that the start of the year was around about this area here. And ever since, Netflix is down by 70% or $425 per share. Now, moving on to eBay. Now, if you remember eBay, if you watched last week's video as well, you have noticed that we said that we had another analyst who had their coverage initiated for eBay, which means they would be looking more into the price targets they had set, as well as the rating. Well, this week on Friday, actually Goldman Sachs moved on to downgrading the stock from a neutral rating to a sell, just like with Netflix, and the revised price target from $52 to $42. Currently, you can see we're trading around about $2.50 above that price target, so that price target will be around about at these lows right here. Now, similarly to Netflix, eBay was also down by more than 5% or $2.41 per share on the day. And if we want to zoom out a little bit further and see the performance throughout the year, we can see it's not as bad as Netflix's, but it's still down quite a lot by more than 30% or $22 per share on the year. So again, it was pretty much short sellers day, as we mentioned in the look back video as well on Friday. So we'll see how these stocks will react to that next week. Now, moving on to Forex, and we'll be looking at the economic calendar. Now, it's going to be quite an eventful week next week, since we're going to have not one, not two, but actually three different interest rate reports. We're going to have one from the UK, one from the US, which is going to be the more important one of the week, and also one from Japan as well. Now, the economic calendar, as we always mention, you can access by going to the homepage. You can click here if you're at another section of the website, and then navigate to the Education and Research tab and click on the economic calendar. And as always, we're going to filter the data to next week, medium, high impact events, and always keep note of the time here. Make sure you set it to the one that is most appropriate to you, so you can know that you're always looking at the correct timings with regards to the release of the events. So you can see right off the bat, on Monday is going to be a UK focus day, as we're going to have a flurry of events being released. All of them, they're going to be at 7 a.m. It's going to be London time, with a more important event or figure being the GDP report, which again is going to be at 7 a.m. Don't forget to always use this tooltip right here as well, because it gives you an indication as to the volatility that you can expect in the hours following the event. Then we're going to move straight on to Tuesday, and we're going to kick things off again. It's going to be a UK focused morning, I would say. So we'll have employment data from the UK, again being released at 7 a.m. But also at the same time, we're going to have some important data from the EU, specifically Germany, and its inflation rate, again at the same time. And then we're going to have PPI figures from the US towards midday. And then towards the more important day of the week, we're moving on to Wednesday. We're going to kick things off with having the Consumer Confidence Index from Australia in the morning hours, then some retail sales figures from China. And as we move towards the morning in the EU, we're going to have inflation rates and the trade balance, with inflation rates going to be from France, and the trade balance is going to be overall for the Eurozone. And then towards midday, that's when the US reports start being released. We're going to have import-export prices for the US towards midday, as well as the retail sales figure being the high impact event around this time frame. And then towards the evening hours, we're going to have the Fed's interest rate decision, which again is always followed by the press conference. So make sure you don't miss that one as well, because we're obviously going to get some further information as to what kind of rate hikes we can expect for the rest of the year. On this occasion, we are expecting rates to be hiked by 0.5% from 1% to 1.5%. And then finishing the day off, we'll have GDP data from New Zealand at 11:45, again UK time. Now on Thursday, so again this was the first interest rate report, which is from the US. Then on Thursday we'll start things off with a trade balance from Japan, and then the unemployment data from Australia in the morning hours UK time. Then we're actually going to also have the interest rate decision from Switzerland at 8:30. And then that's going to be followed by the interest rate decision from the Bank of England at 12. We're also expecting a rate hike, but not by as much as the US. On this occasion, it's going to be a 0.25% change from 1% to 1.25. And then to finish the day off, we're going to have building permits and housing starts from the US, but it's going to be towards midday. And then we're moving on to Friday and the last of the interest rate reports, which is going to be from the Bank of Japan. This one is going to be released at 4 a.m. But in opposition to what you would expect from the UK and the US, which they're both hiking the rates, the Bank of Japan is sticking to its conservative approach, keeping rates unchanged at minus 0.1%. So you can see it's going to be quite an interest rate heavy week, with some of the world's major economies reporting their numbers. And finishing things off on Friday, we're still going to be having inflation data from the Eurozone, so we're not done with the interest rate decision. And we're also going to have one more speech from the Fed's chairman, Jerome Powell. And since we're on the topic as well, on Wednesday, we're going to be having also the crude oil inventories reports right here. So if commodities is your niche market or asset class that you prefer to trade, then obviously you're going to have these two reports to keep an eye on as well. But obviously, since we do have the interest rate decision from the US, if you're trading oil and gold, I wouldn't say just stick, let's say for oil, just to the oil inventory report, because obviously as we get any further news with regards to the US dollar, that's directly going to correlate or impact any commodities that are denominated in dollars, which of course is the oil, US oil and gold as well. And lastly, we're going to be having a look at cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin specifically. There wasn't a lot of action going on with regards to Bitcoin over the course of the week. As you can see, we're still trading in the same area that we've been trading over the course of the last 4 weeks or the past month. So obviously we're sitting at a key level, and one would maybe expect prices to consolidate as we're trying to get a sense of direction, and depending on the breakouts that we get, we could see the price either dropping even further, with again the next possible level being around the 20,000 mark, or start bouncing back and retesting the swing highs, as we can see up here. But I would say maybe try to be patient, because obviously since we do have this, just mark it out, we have like a little tight range for me here. Obviously you don't want to be getting chopped up each time the price breaks out. So if you're trading, maybe a use of a wider stop loss could help, or even just sitting on the sidelines waiting for some other confirmation could help you with regards to your next trading decision. Now obviously, just to mention tixee's new feature as well, because I can appreciate there's going to be quite a lot of events being released next week. So if you can't obviously be in front of the screen for all of them, then we do have the new feature, which obviously can help, because it's the social trading feature. So essentially what you can do, find it by being in tixee's portal, and by navigating to the social trading tab on the left, you can pretty much get a snapshot here of the top performing strategies or accounts. You can see the trending one here is whether they're down or up. And depending on the account or trader, you can also click on the seal button to get an even better overview. You can choose to copy any of those traders. So if you don't have time to follow all of the events or highlights taking place, then obviously you can use this feature to your advantage if you wish to copy a trader that obviously matches your risk appetite as well. And yeah, there you have it. This is as far as the outlook for next week's markets. I hope you enjoyed the video and you found it useful, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Until then, trade safe.